Hi everyone, Kate here, and welcome to my Halloween episode. Okay, I tried to be serious, but that's not gonna work. Hi everyone, Kate here, and welcome to a very special Halloween episode. I love this time of year, and I always try to make at least one or two creepy or otherwise Halloween-y videos. This time round, I'm actually inspired by a video that I made many years ago, back before my videos had sound. So now that I'm doing talkies, I thought I would remake this video and share with you some deadly beauty recipes of the past. While I try to use only the safest of recipes on my channel, I do keep a folder on my computer entitled Deadly Beauty, where I gather some of the more interesting and lethal historical concoctions. Okay, lethal is probably a bit strong. A lot of these products would not have caused immediate harm. It was really more of a long-term, low-level poisoning sort of situation. They're not good, though. As I like to cover a range of decades, the recipes I've gathered to share with you today are ranging from about the Victorian period through to the 1930s. Because scary ingredients did not end in the Victorian period. And who knows, what you have in your medicine cabinet right now could cause future generations to gasp in horror. Hindsight's 2020. Beauty products in the past were not required to be labeled. You really had no way of knowing what was actually inside of them. It could be something totally harmless, or it could be something very poisonous. They all said harmless on the label. Like, you will see harmless in so many historical beauty ads, but the consumer just had no way of knowing what the products actually contained. Contemporary authors from the time actually warned quite a bit about this. You'll see in a lot of old beauty books the authors actually recommending to their readers to avoid many of these store-bought products and either just do without or make their own safer versions at home. One example of this comes from the Ugly Girl papers from 1874, as the author warns their readers against the dangers of shop-bought rouge. By making her own rouge, a lady can graduate her palette, that is to say her cheeks, at pleasure. The following preparations have the virtue, at least, of being harmless, which cannot be said of most paints and powders. Red lead, bismuth, arsenic, and poisonous vegetable compounds are used in the common cosmetics. Bismuth is most frequent, and its least effect is to give the cheeks that is whitened a crop of purplish pimples. The hideously coarse complexion of many public singers is partly due to their use of bismuth powder. While ladies at the time may not have had any way of knowing what was in their favorite beauty products, those of us in modern times can peruse old pharmaceutical manuals and old beauty books and get a pretty good idea of common formulations. So without any further ado, here is 13 deadly beauty recipes from the past. Well, I was going to begin with one of the classic Victorian lead makeup product recipes, but I couldn't find any. Lead was definitely being used by some manufacturers in makeup in the Victorian era, but all I could find was allusions to such products and warnings against them. However, as an alternative to lead in makeup, I did manage to find asbestos in grease paint. Those of you unfamiliar with the product, grease paint is a heavy theatrical face paint, a sort of a precursor to modern foundation. And these particular grease paint recipes from the era formulary from 1893 contained asbestos for some reason. Now, I've looked at a lot of grease paint recipes over the years, and asbestos is not a common ingredient in it, at least as far as the recipes that I've seen. And I'm not quite sure why it's being used in this application. It could possibly be there as one of the pigments, or possibly has something to do with giving the product a certain type of finish, a certain look on stage. While topically applied asbestos can cause long-term damage and cancer, it's actually the pharmacists in this case that I'm most concerned about. They would have been working with the loose powder form of asbestos, and people at the time just didn't know how dangerous that was. Breathing in asbestos can lead to all sorts of irreversible lung damage, and it's not good. It's not something you want in your face makeup. Okay. On that cheery note, moving on to the next one. Troubled with acne? Have I got a lotion for you from 1915.
Acne Cleansing Lotion. Mercury bichloride, 7 grams. Zinc sulfate, 15 grams. Tincture of benzoin, 2 grams. Water, 4 ounces. Dissolve the mercury in the water, and then add the zinc sulfate and lastly the benzoin. This lotion is poisonous and should not be allowed to get into the eyes. A thorough application should be given by dabbing it on the face with an absorbent cotton and allowing it to dry and remain on. It should be used daily or every other day if it proves to be very irritating.
Well, at least it outright says it's poisonous. They clearly knew it was not a healthy product. This mercury recommendation for acne actually has a fairly long history. The Ladies' Guide to Beauty from 1860 recommends mixing some mercury with sulfur and hog's lard. Oh, that sounds interesting. I think I'd rather have acne. The recipe says to apply it directly to your pimples, but to stay away from drafts afterwards. Yeah, because it's the draft that's going to get you. If you stay away from drafts, I'm sure you'll be fine. Okay. At the turn of the century, you might have turned to your local pharmacist to purchase a complexion beautifier. These were usually fairly liquid products. They're not like a cream, they're more of a liquid fluid kind of thing. And they often had fairly dubious ingredients. Let's check out a couple of recipes from pharmaceutical formulas from 1902. The first recipe on the list is said to be similar to Madame Rupert's and contains corrosive sublimate, which is mercury chloride, as well as a tincture of benzoin, which is just a resin that's fine, and water. You're supposed to apply that morning and night. Next, similar to Calidor, we have blanched bitter almonds, rose water, and then to that you add mercuric chloride, aluminum chloride, eau de cologne, and cherry laurel water. I'm kind of sensing a trend with this mercury skincare thing. Mercury poisoning can cause the lips and the cheeks to turn pink, so perhaps at these concentrations, the mercury might have given what looked like a healthy flush to the skin, as well as killing any bacteria. Mercury's very good at killing bacteria, among killing other things. Yeah, mercury poisoning, not a good thing. I don't care how pretty your skin looks in the short term. With some of these recipes, it seems to me the chance of something going horribly wrong is rather high. Such as with this gasoline shampoo from 1931.
Can gasoline be used as a shampoo? Yes. With the head bent backwards over a bowl, have someone pour from 1/2 to 1 pint of gasoline slowly through the hair. Do not rub. Squeeze the gasoline out and dry by absorbing with a towel. Complete the drying by fanning. Be sure there is plenty of ventilation and no open flames nearby. Also, do not snap an electric light switch, which might cause a spark.
Our next book, Beauty, Health and Complexion from 1895, has all kinds of helpful applications for the treatment of eczema. Because nothing helps eczema like a little lead. Or a lot of lead. Apparently. Now, by this time, people definitely knew the dangers of lead poisoning, so I have no idea why it would be included in a preparation meant for somebody with skin issues. That seems like a terrible time to use. Well, I was gonna say that seems like a terrible time to use lead in your skin creams, but like, there's not a good time. Now, this lead for skin disorders trend actually carried on a lot later than I would have expected. You can kind of understand it with the Victorians. Okay, there's still some old ideas holding on there. But I was really surprised by this recipe in the 1917 Hygiene of the Face. They're still using lead in medicated skin creams, although this time it's being used for congestion, which means redness, as well as rosacea. And they use it again in this recipe for redness and acne. Now, I did Google the effects of applying lead topically to try to figure out why they might have done this, but other than lead poisoning and death, I couldn't really find much useful information. Now, lead is less likely to be absorbed by the bloodstream when applied topically rather than when it's ingested. It's still not a good idea. Lead poisoning can be incredibly serious, if not outright fatal. And there were plenty of other harmless ingredients at this time period that could be used to treat these skin conditions. It baffles me. I just don't understand. The next thing on my list is actually not a recipe per se, but rather a few beauty tricks and hacks to make your eyes shine bright.
The secrets of making up have hardly all been mentioned, though the list is growing long. What girl does not know that eating lump sugar wet with cologne just before going out will make her eyes shine bright? Or that the homelier mode of flirting soap suds into them has the same effect? Spanish ladies squeeze orange juice into their eyes to make them shine.
Do they? Do they really? Part of me wonders if that was a real thing or just something the author made up. It sounds really painful. Not that soap sounds like a good alternative. I'm not even sure how that works. Like, if that works in any way to make your eyes bright. Whenever I've got soap suds in my eyes, they just go red. They might glow red, but that's not a good look. I don't know. I don't think eye irritation is particularly sexy, but okay. I've only included one hair dye on my list today, but there are so many dangerous dye recipes that I really could make a whole video on it in the future. But for now, I'm going to share with you these two recipes from The Art of Perfumery from 1867, which are made from quicklime and lead. These dyes could give you anything from a light brown to a nearly black shade, depending on if you left them on the hair for 4 or up to 8 hours for darker colors. 4 to 12 hours for lead and quicklime on your head. I mean, I get that the quicklime has been slaked, like it wouldn't be as corrosive, but like that's gonna be painful, right? I think I'll just stick to henna. Thank you very much. There are some times when I read a historical beauty book and I'm not quite sure if it's simply stating a fact or actually making a recommendation. Such is the case with this paragraph from De la Banta's Advice to Ladies Concerning Beauty from 1874.
An Italian method, and one Lady Mary Wortley Montague employed to renew and refine the complexion, was a wash of vitriol. It was a heroic application. A better, however, is muriatic acid, 60% strong, diluted in 12 parts water, which, when used as a wash, gradually eats away the outer surface skin without serious consequences, if one has the fortitude to bear it. A good case of typhoid fever clears the skin effectively.
Like, did the author just recommend getting typhoid as a beauty treatment? Is that what just happened? Oh look, it's time for some more mercury. This time, it's not only good for acne, but also for sunburn and freckles. A lot of these old books are absolutely full of dangerous freckle removal methods, which kind of baffles me. I personally think freckles are adorable. Okay, just one more mercury recipe. This one comes from Health and Beauty Hints from 1910, which is actually a book I've featured on my channel a number of times. And this one's not for a face product or a skincare product, but rather a hair care product. A curling lotion, to be specific.
A third preparation, of which I have heard but do not vouch for, would be suited to oily hair. It is composed of 1 ounce of gum arabic and half an ounce of granulated sugar, which is moist. Coffee sugar, I think it is called. These are dissolved in 3 gills of hot water, and when the mixture is cold, 2 ounces of alcohol are put in, first dissolving the latter in 6 grains of bichloride of mercury and sal ammoniac. Enough water is then added to make a pint. I am positive the mixture should not be used if there is the slightest abrasion of the scalp, and I believe that because of the mercury, it would be harmful to the hair.
Just harmful to the hair? I don't really understand why this is even in here. I mean, if the author believed it to be harmful and didn't recommend it, why was it included in their book of health and beauty hints? It's literally a book of recommendations. If you don't recommend it, why are you writing it in with your recommendations? I don't get it. The logic there just does not compute. Well, after this long, scary list, let's look finally at a treatment for those dark circles under your eyes. Okay, this one's not as toxic as some of the other ones per se. It's just more one of those ones that seems rather risky to me. The Care of the Face from 1915 suggests the following. The dark circles under the eyes are usually caused by an impairment of the chemical constitution of the blood or an impoverishment of the system by prolonged study, lack of sleep, or dissipation of any kind. External treatment is sometimes effective, but not permanent while the cause exists. Bathe frequently with cold water and use friction. A little turpentine liniment may be rubbed into the skin daily or weak ammonia. 1 part to 4 parts water. Care being taken to not let either get into the eyes. I mean, they do say not to get it in your eye, but if you're applying it in the under eye area, I think there's a pretty high chance of you accidentally getting some ammonia or turpentine into your eyeball. I'm not a doctor, so I can't say for sure how harmful that would be, but it certainly doesn't sound very pleasant. And we reach the end of the list. Just before we go, I feel like I should mention, in all fairness to pharmacists of the past, that for every dangerous or toxic recipe I featured here today, there were many, many more perfectly harmless ones. Sometimes not always the most effective, but harmless nonetheless. This was a very cherry-picked selection of recipes. If you enjoy delving into historical beauty recipes, I hope you'll stick around and perhaps subscribe if you're new. I make plenty of perfectly safe and harmless, really actually harmless, recipes here on my channel. As always, thank you for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye! Happy Halloween!
This video is made possible through the generous support of my Patreon members. Thank you.
Hi everyone, Kate here. Ooh, spooky! I was gonna do the witch's hat, but I've tried that other years and it like doesn't fit in the frame. I need a shorter witch's hat. Oh, I love Halloween. Spooky, creepy things, although I'm... Somehow I feel like I'm more of a Charlie Brown's pumpkin patch kind of person. A little less, you know, horror movie, a little more Charlie Brown. Yeah. I don't do creepy. I like sort of Halloween, ghosty, witchy kind of things, but I'm not exactly a horror movie kind of person. Arsenic and Old Lace. That's as close as I get to a horror movie. That's a great movie, by the way. Arsenic and Old Lace. Classic Halloween movie. I watch that every year. That and Charlie Brown. I do watch Charlie Brown every year, too. But for now, I'll share with you these 2 recipes, which are from where? Man, I did not write stuff down. I mean, they do say don't get it. Oh. Aggie, you scared me. Hi.
Oh, hello. Come for the video? Hello. Say hello to the people. Say hello to the people.
Okay, you want to be put down.
So, whoops, sorry.
Okay, where was I? Oh, I didn't think to put any Halloween decorations in the background. I have Halloween decorations, they're just not in that particular direction. No. Well, too late. I'm done the video, so too bad, so sad.